Hold on, I'm trying to flip in. Hello, friends! Welcome to User Friendly, episode
55?
You always actually know these. I never do.
Because I edit the show.
You actually work on the show. I'm your co-host, Erfon Eliza. You might know me from such podcasts as The Cultcast, and I also do this a lot for cultamac.com. And I'm here with my friend, and User Friendly. And I'm here with my friend,
Roberto Hoyos, and you might know me for some cool pillows that look like social media icons.
Yeah, that's true. And some of them look like prolific CEOs.
That's true.
CEOs, you might say. And boy, I just got back from
Well, what is
Macworld.
user friendly?
Oh gosh, that's a great
Because you know every podcast is somebody's first podcast.
Oh my gosh, I thought that was a sprinkler. It started raining. Crazy. So User Friendly is a weekly technology podcast that Roberto and I do where we talk about our favorite tech, our favorite stuff on the web, and all things geek, and any other tangential things that we feel like we should be talking about.
Sometimes we do movie reviews.
Oh, sometimes we do something. In my mind, I always call it the Netflix review.
There you go.
Do you like it?
I like it.
That's a new segment that we're doing, actually, and we're going to have a new movie that we'll be doing, I think, probably for next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about it at the end.
We'll talk about that at the end, but basically it's a segment where we tell you a movie that's available on Netflix Instant so that you can watch it, and then we review it on an upcoming show. And it's actually one of my favorite segments too.
Yeah.
Because who actually reviews movies that everyone's seen? Like normally, like when people review movies, it's stuff that just came out.
Right.
And you're like, oh, I may have not seen it, and they're always like, spoiler alert, and then you end up not listening to half of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we've got a great show for you this week.
That's right.
This show is sponsored by
Might Tease and Throwboy.
Might Tease and Throwboy. And I was trying to come up with something clever on the fly, but that didn't work. Let's start with...
but you've been gone, sir.
I've been gone.
It feels like a long time.
Yeah, well, I was in Vegas for CES 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then on, what was it? Tuesday, I left for Macworld. But like 4 days before that, my editor and friend Leander Connie, he called me. He's like, hey, you want to go to Macworld? Gov. And I was like, dude, it's in like 4 days.
Yeah.
And he's like, I need you there to gadget hunt.
That's like when we went to VidCon, I think.
Yeah.
It was like, you want to go to VidCon? Mm-hmm. It's like, it's tomorrow.
Sure.
And we didn't even know each other very well.
No, not at all. And I didn't even have a place to stay.
Yeah,
I was like,
right.
I'm just going to go and hope this works out.
That's right.
Actually, every time I do that, it ends up working out.
Shout out to Randy.
Shout out to G-Man. Do you think G-Man watches the show?
Probably not.
Probably not.
But he loves us. So.
But he does love us. So, yeah, I just got back from Macworld. And for those of you who don't know what Macworld is, that's weird, but I'll explain it. Macworld/iWorld. They call it Macworld iWorld now.
They're like the Windows 8 of conventions, right? You have one foot in the desktop and 1 foot in touch.
That's true.
1 foot in iWorld, 1 foot in Macworld.
Which actually, I think the title alone kind of demonstrates how confused the show has become, right?
Really?
And I actually wrote a piece about this on Cultamac.
Well, enlighten us, because I went to Macworld last in 2004.
Yeah.
When Steve Jobs announced the Mac Mini and the iPod Shuffle.
Wow.
It was considered like the cheapest.
Did you see the keynote?
Year ever because it was all the cheap stuff. No, my friend and I didn't have tickets to go to the keynote.
Okay.
But we were gonna drive up there and just be in the Moscone, like I guess they probably showed it on monitors, so we were just like, oh, let's just go, because at that time we worked at Apple, and I think we got cheaper tickets. Or no, they sell for Macworld tickets for like $25 for a while.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah. Now I know it's expensive, and I think it went down this year.
They did some weird package deal now where you could buy a pass for like $125, and it got you access to just about everything. But then they have $1,100 tickets too, which.
We just bought like the cheapy show floor, so that's my last Macworld experience was years ago, like almost 10 years ago.
Wow.
So what happened this year?
Well, I think it's actually good to talk about what Macworld used to be so that you can understand where it is today. So Macworld used to be like the mecca for Apple fans, right? Like you go there, Apple was still involved in the show, And
heavily
involved.
Yeah.
Heavily involved.
Huge
yeah, I mean,
booth.
Steve Jobs would give the keynote each year.
It would be like everyone's waiting for the new thing. What are they going to
Exactly.
announce?
They always had something to unveil to people.
And a lot of the times, like now, these days, we kind of already know something's going to be released beforehand. Like, the rumors are almost perfectly accurate now. Then there was so many weird rumors that just never surfaced,
Sure.
I remember there was something called the iHome, and it was supposed to be Apple's media center. And it was like a leaked photo.
That's funny.
And then there was, before they released the all-in-one iMac that was flat, they had patent release, Apple or Mac rumors had patent releases of one that had not only the neck, but like a few links in the neck, so you could like move it even more.
Who knows? Maybe it existed as a prototype.
Yeah, you're right.
Because they have all sorts of crazy prototypes out there that we probably never get to see.
So Macworld used to be like very, Macs in general used to be very like cult of Mac. Like it was like a thing.
And they used to be way geekier than they are now.
If you saw somebody like in a public place that had a Mac, you like were like, oh, that guy's cool.
That guy's cool.
Because it was like for like cool people and designers. And there was the whole Switch campaign because everybody and their mom had a PC and they were trying to get people over to the Mac. So when you went to Macworld, it was like, oh, you're like salivating for so much cool Mac stuff. You know? So, and then I think that changed once, probably like in the late 2000, like 2007, 2006 when the MacBook came out. Because that became one of the best-selling Macs ever. Everyone had a Mac at that point. Your mom, your parents had a Mac.
And now with the iPads and iPhones, everybody has a Mac.
And since, so everyone seems to have a Mac. And then with the release of the iPhone, it's like you don't see somebody with an iPhone.
Well, I think that was kind of the next big thing for Macworld, right? It's like first you had Apple pull out of the conference, which was huge because people were like, how is this Apple conference going to exist without Apple? And it has. And then the iPhone came out, and it's like, okay, wait a second, because the Macworld was always about like those kind of like really hardcore nerdy guys who were really into the Mac, right?
Oh yeah, it was like a user group.
Yeah, it really was. I think Macworld started as a user group.
Wouldn't surprise me at all. Yeah.
And in fact, I heard an old timer talking about it. And now you roam the halls, and it's a bunch of old guys like coming to this show. And they were talking about the days of yore when it used to be cool to build your own programs on your Apple II GS.
Oh, gosh.
And they call the people that attend the show iFans. And in my mind, I'm like, do iFans actually exist? Like, is this are there people out there who are major iPhone fans? Like, I don't know if those people exist or if they're just trying to come up with a category of people to market to.
I think that they might exist, like, judging from when I watch YouTube videos of like younger kids, talking about all the apps they love and all the, stuff about the iOS that they love, there is, but it's so like, I don't know, it's just such a consumer appliance nowadays that it's not it's not something you can dig into and be enthusiastic about and like write programs for, like the only programs you can really write for this thing, you have to go through Apple to submit them,
it's true.
It's not like the Mac where it would be like, it's open and you could have your own website where you say, go download my freeware type shit, like none of that is really, I mean, there is a little of that, but it's jailbreak community stuff,
Yeah, totally. I think that's true.
And that's why there's a jailbreak con now, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's the same place, right?
Yeah.
So it's really interesting because, I mean, the community is changing and actually, I think it's languishing. I think Macworld is really struggling to find an identity and The interesting thing is that CES has the iLounge, which is basically what Macworld used to be. And every year, the iLounge grows. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think the reason that Macworld has really kind of declined is because they had an emphasis on the technology, right? Like kind of like PC users do, like here are the chips, here's the hardware.
Yeah.
And the coolest thing that I saw there was a talk by Fred Armisen of Saturday Night Live fame and then also of Portlandia. Nothing to do with technology at all. It was him talking about how he created characters, what his life was like, what it was like working on SNL. But interweaved in that discussion was how he uses Apple products to live this amazing life that he has and come up with these amazing sketches that he does and these characters. And I was like,
I love the stuff that they do for Portlandia that involves technology.
I do too.
It's spot on.
It's so funny. They played a lot of that at his talk.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, that's fine. You. So I was like, this is what they need to they need to focus on. Like, this crowd is way old, and in 10 years, all these people are either going to be dead or in retirement homes, and they need to figure out a way to get a younger audience engaged. And I think the only way they're going to do that is if they bring really cool people in who are doing amazing things with Apple products and have them show how to do these things with Apple products and not just focus on the technology. Because
like the chips,
you
and
said
the bits and all
like
that shit.
The Apple stuff is becoming appliances. I totally agree.
Right.
And so it's hard to be excited about the A6 chip, the A6X chip. Like, you don't know anything about it. And it's not like gigahertz and megahertz and, RAM. Like, we don't know a lot of that kind of stuff about Apple unless you really want to dig into it. And no one cares anymore.
No one cares anymore. Yeah, it used to be like that, man. I remember we used to be... I mean, you and I built PCs. We know that feeling of, like, when you used to get in there and, like, you used to read, gear magazines. And
I used to have a subscription to Maximum PC Magazine. And I remember the very first magazine I got, I opened it up, and there was a centerfold of a lady with big old boobies in a bikini holding a motherboard. She was holding a motherboard, and I was like, dear God, what did I subscribe to? But I used to read about, like, Intel's new upcoming chips, right? Yeah. I was so super into all that stuff.
I used to be so into Macworld magazine. I would get it from time to time. I didn't have a subscription, but I loved getting those because it would come with, like, demo CDs, and you'd, put it in and get some free software and blah, blah, blah. And I used to love that. But, I mean, those days... I think they're kind of like they've evolved into something else because Apple doesn't cater to that anymore.
No, they don't.
Apple is already probably going to.
It's ubiquitous now, right? It's like everybody has a freaking Mac,
and they've, honestly, they kind of fostered it for a while, but I don't think they ever wanted to be this open it up, do it yourself type of company that makes that makes these PCs that you can open up and get at. You know what I mean? Like, they kind of fostered it for a while where they were like, look how easy it is to open up your PowerPC G4 and all this stuff. But, I mean, now they're where they want to be, where they're, like, more and more closed, and people love it. Like, it used to be like the most controversial thing. It's like, oh my God, Apple's so closed, and, they don't let us do anything with our devices or our computers. And now it's like, dude, I love that I can turn on my iPhone and it just works.
Yeah, and it works flawlessly. I mean, I think that there will always be that community of people who want to tinker, and I do too. I mean, I have a PC and I do tinker with it from time to time, and I really enjoy building PCs. Yeah. But for my machine that I use every day for work, I don't want to mess with it. I just want it to work. And I love the UI. I mean, there's just so many things about the Apple operating system that I love, and the hardware integration. The software hardware integration.
Sure. And I want there to be, like, there's no question about this. I want there to be a community of people that are tinkerers.
Yeah, totally.
And that want to do this kind of stuff, because those are the innovators that are going to make the stuff to come. Like, those are the people that are going to start the next Apples and stuff like that, Yeah. Because, I mean, that's what Woz did, right?
Right, yeah.
So, I just think that it's not... I don't know if... It's like Macworld, if you're attached to basically the Apple brand, Apple is not like that anymore. So you need to reflect that, right?
Yeah, Apple's not even like that anymore. Yeah, I think that's a great point. And then you have these old timers who are, like, complaining because it's not the Apple they remember.
Right.
And I'm like, Apple isn't about engineering prowess anymore. They're not about creating these happy Macs. Like they've moved on. They're all about mobile computing now. And that's why I think Macworld's calling it Macworld iWorld. I think eventually they're going to drop Macworld, and they're just going to call it iWorld, and they're trying to transition into that.
They really should. I mean, really, like, next year they should just call it iWorld.
Yeah, they probably should, and they should change the magazine name too.
The magazine, yeah, exactly.
But it's such a well-known brand, so it'll be interesting to see if it still survives. I mean, like I said, the iLounge at CES is really cool, and the stuff that you see there. So let's talk about the show itself for a moment.
Yeah, so let's do that. So what's today like?
So you walk around the show, and it was just, by the first day, I was struggling for things to cover. I was like, okay, I have to really dig deep here. So I have to go talk to every booth. I have to get their story.
So what does a visual scan of this place look like?
So, for instance, there's probably, I'm just totally guessing here, maybe 50, 60 booths. And they have this huge area that are just kiosks. And it's just like companies showing off apps, right? And apps that may not even be new. So as actual like real hardware, like everything that you see there has already been announced at CES, or it's things that have been around for a long time. There's just nothing new and innovative there. I mean, that's why when I was walking around, I was like, oh geez, like what am I gonna write about while I'm here? How am I gonna gadget hunt this place, right? And I actually did find some cool stuff. But it was a lot more work, you know. Everyone's releasing all their stuff at CES now, and just to kind of give you an idea of size, every night at CES, we would go to a press event. And these press events were really big. And but they were still a lot smaller than the actual show themselves. I would say Macworld is probably the size of one of the smaller press events we went to. And I could cover one of those things in 2 hours and be done. I would just do a quick scan, run around. I'm like, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. And then do some pieces about it, finished. And Macworld, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to be here for 4 days. You know, like...
Yeah, that's a long show.
So, yeah, I mean, it's just not innovative. There's nothing cool. There's nothing new and cool to see there. At least there wasn't this year.
What about panels?
The panels were cool. So they had Ashton Kutcher and Josh Gad, the actors from the Jobs movie. And... it was just kind of bizarre. I mean, it was like Josh Gad was charming and great, and Ashton Kutcher came out, and I just felt like he was really being synthetic, but he was trying to be genuine. That's the best way I can describe. He was trying his best.
A movie.
He was trying to promote himself as like a really technological person who was really into Apple and its history, and he talked about how he prepared for the role, and
like he went overboard with it.
Yeah, I felt like, you know, like when someone's trying to be passionate, but they're not?
Right.
That's what I felt it was like. Until they asked him about what he took away from the movie. He started talking about Steve Jobs, and he was practically choking back tears. And I look over at Buster, and Buster's like practically laughing. It was just weird. It was just really weird. And I think Ashton Kutcher is kind of an awkward person when you see him in person. Like, he's very tall. He's very slouched over. Maybe he's still kind of doing that Steve Jobs role. And I don't know. I mean, it wasn't a really fascinating panel. And then the Fred Armisen one just blew it out of the water. I mean, that was one of the best panels I've been to. But other than that, it was like here's how to use Lion. You know?
I remember I saw on Macworld's website they had live video of it, which was really cool. I don't know if they've done that for that long, but they had live video of all the panels, and I caught a few here and there. And it seemed like they had a really good mixed bag. They had the guy from, what's it called? They had the guy from, who does the teardowns for all the Mac products when they come out.
Oh, the iFixit guy?
Yeah, they had the iFixit guy.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, and he was being interviewed by Chris Breen. I think Chris Breen's really cool. He's the guy he's in charge of Macworld, I think.
Yeah, the guys who run Macworld, honestly, really cool guys. Yeah. Super musical guys, too. They throw this party called Cirque de Mac at the end, and they have the Macworld band.
Oh, really?
And they all play together in the same band.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I've
always
actually
liked Paul Kent almost got into a fight on stage. He's like the guy that runs Macworld.
Why?
Because people kept getting up on the stage and dance, and he was getting pissed. They stopped playing, and he was getting up in some guy's face and like putting his finger in his face, and like.
Do they have video of that?
I don't think they have video of that, and that was the second time that had happened, and he's like yelling at them to get off the stage, and everyone else was like enjoying themselves playing.
Respect my.
And he
stage.
was just going straight silverback ape on this guy. He was about to rip his face off, and I was like, kill him!
It's bad enough that you don't like your Mac.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. The guys who run Macworld are really awesome, and actually, strangely, they wrap up the entire event with a drum circle.
Oh, that's what you.
That's why I sent you that video.
Interesting.
So they have this drum circle guy come in, and they fill this entire huge hall with drums, and probably like 200 or 300 people show up.
I've never seen a drum circle in a hall, like an event hall.
Yeah,
I've always seen them outside.
It was getting primal in there. Women were taking their tops off, and guys were letting their moves swing around. It was getting crazy. And I put down. I got some camera footage of actually, and then I put it down, and I started. Dude, I was beating on that drum. And of course...
Were you really?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Did they give everybody a drum?
Everybody had drums. They probably had 200 drums and like percussion instruments laying out in there. And I thought I was like, every time there'd like be a solo, they'd like give it to a black guy, and I'm like, dude, that's so racist. I can do a drum solo. Come on, don't just give it to the black guy by default. Like, not all black guys have rhythm. So racist. Can you believe them? Any other questions about Macworld?
Let me see. So you were in San Francisco a long time.
Yeah, San Francisco's awesome. I love it.
But you were only at Macworld for a portion of it?
Almost the whole time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got there on a Tuesday. It started on Wednesday, and then it ended on Saturday, and then I stayed till Monday. But then Sunday we went out around San Francisco, our mutual friend Amanda, and we had so much fun.
Yeah.
I love San Francisco. We went to Golden Gate State Park.
It's a cool park.
It's a really awesome park. And
Did
then
you go on a boat? Because they have like
they
give you. I think they have paddle boats.
Do they really?
Yeah.
We didn't do that, but they have bison. They have a grass field filled with bison just hanging out, and
That's
you can go like
sweet.
watch the bison. And then we walked down to the beach. Really beautiful beach down there. I just love San Francisco. I would live down there.
Yeah, it's a cool place.
And
next time we should go, and then we could go to the Twit studio.
dude, if we go, we can stay on the boat.
Okay.
So this
Sounds romantic.
It is very romantic. It's actually not bad. It has a TV and stuff. It has like a little kitchenette. This is the other thing that some of you may or may not know. So Buster and I stayed on Leander's boat. He has a boat on Pier 39, which is like right in the heart of the tourist area of San Francisco. Like you walk out, there's Fisherman's Wharf. It's actually kind of cool.
Where did you shower?
So the boat has a toilet, but it has a no number 2 rule.
Oh, okay.
So, and the shower doesn't actually work. So the marina has marina offices with showers, toilets, washer dryer.
Is it like a gym shower where you guys see each other naked?
No. I wish. Nice wiener.
Sword fighting.
Yeah, it's like, don't spray me. No.
Slapping towels.
Yeah.
It didn't, but we did that.
Yeah, we did that in the same shower stall. No, so you walk into a hall and it's like, like there's like individual bathrooms, and then you walk in, close the door, lock the door. It's actually like a airport bathroom stall type thing, except it's way bigger.
What the hell airport has a shower?
Like when you're on when you're on an airplane, there's like the vacant thing.
Oh, gotcha, yeah.
So it's like it has that on the door so people know when you're in there.
I was watching your Vine. That's why I knew about that. Because you looked like you were like haggard from a night of drinking, and you were walking on the pier with a towel, and I was like, where does he have to shower? Like next to a pelican on the beach?
It's actually kind of cool, right? So we walk out there.
Like, actually, my shower was on the beach, and it was one of those.
Yeah. So we had to get up at like 6 a.m., right? 6:30.
Yeah.
And walk our arses all the way down the pier to the marina offices to shower. But the cool thing is like there's the marina office right here, right? And then the water's right here. And then like there's just Alcatraz right there.
That's funny.
So it's like you got a really cool view every night or every morning. But yeah, it was not cool when you're like tired at 6 a.m.
Right.
Walking in the freaking freezing wind on the way to the marina. Showers. It was quite an experience. Anyway,
cool.
I think that's it for Macworld then, yeah?
Yeah. Well, our next topic is Redbox.
Redbox! Sponsor, Redbox!
Yeah, that's what
That's going to be our sponsor.
Our Bizarro World Dignation.
Yeah.
Sponsor. Who's like not GoDaddy. Hover.
No, our sponsor needs to be Netflix because we're going to be doing the Netflix review.
Oh, right.
And eventually, once we have enough viewers, we could probably actually get some money from this show.
Tell some friends.
Tell one of your friends about us.
And they can tell 5 friends.
Just don't even. You don't even have to watch it. Just make them download it. Just go to like their computer and just download it so our numbers go up.
They want to keep us small and to themselves.
Yeah, we're like super niche right now. It's like the cool thing to be into. Like, you like user friendly? No, never heard of it. Okay, cool, good.
We're gonna make
keep
t-shirts.
watching it, man.
We should make t-shirts. I bet we could.
What's user friendly?
I bet we could sell at least 50 t-shirts.
You think so?
Yeah.
What should it say? Probably what's user friendly.
I'm user friendly.
I'm user friendly. We probably could sell those. Maybe we could be selling them for $500 each. We could actually recoup some of our expenses. Anyway, so let's talk about Redbox because Redbox is making them moves.
Yes, sir. So if you haven't heard, Redbox is launching, or maybe has already launched, something called Redbox Instant, which is a Netflix instant type of competitor.
I think that they have already launched this.
Okay. So then the real news is that it's going to be coming to the Xbox 360.
So
cool.
It
could be, you know, another little app on your Xbox, just like Netflix has.
Yep.
And you might mistake it because they have red logos. Can they look almost the same?
They do look almost exactly the same.
But
yeah.
the deal is you'll be able to rent, do streaming movies on your Xbox 360 through Redbox. I'm not sure what the library is like, but you'll also be able to take out, I think, 4 DVD rentals a month through their. Is it 4? I don't know. I think it said 4. Through their regular kiosk things that you see
4,
at,
yes,
at you know, grocery stores and whatnot. So I thought this was interesting. I have never really been a huge Redbox person, but I know it's popular as hell. And
there's always people with those red boxes.
It always surprises me, and I see them all over, so it's convenient.
So for those who actually don't, maybe you're not from the U.S.
Yeah.
There are these red boxes that sit in front, like vending machines in
Right.
front of like grocery stores and like convenience stores and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then you put in $1, and then you get to rent a movie for a night, and then you just, as long as you return it for the next day, it just costs $1.
Yeah.
So they're really popular.
Yeah, it's just $1, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
Actually,
That's
new
probably why
releases
they're
might be
popular.
2.
Yeah, and there's been competitors. Like I know we have the crappy grocery store I live by has a Blockbuster version of it.
I can't believe that's still there.
Yeah. So yeah, what do you think about this?
I think it's cool. I mean, the more streaming options, the better.
Sure.
The competition is always good. I'm really curious to see what their library is going to be like.
Me too.
Because that's going to be a huge, huge, huge piece of this, right? Because Netflix's library is just really...
It's crazy, and
it's really well, fleshed out.
I wonder if the Redbox is going to be a different kind of library, because we're used to Netflix where it has like, you know, full seasons of shows and a huge back catalog of stuff. Like I watched Knight Rider on there the other day.
Yeah, they just recently added that.
Yeah, and just stuff like that, you know. Or is this going to be more movie titles or what?
Yeah, I don't know. They're also saying that they're going to be launching iOS and Android apps sometime. They don't say when.
I would love it if they offered some sort of free trial. That way we can get a taste of it.
I'm sure they will.
Because I think that they need to try to get their foothold in there. Because Netflix is like ubiquitous with any TV set-top box. You can buy the cheesiest cheap TV box and it's on it, you know?
Yeah, it really is.
But yeah, I think it's good to have that competition. It's just like... It's gonna be tough, like unless they offer a good, selection and a demo for us.
Dude, their selection has to be top notch, because, I mean, I guess their magic sauce is they're gonna be like, oh, well, you get up to 4 free movies from our boxes, but I'm like, I don't want to go to a freaking box and rent movies. I don't use Redbox.
Yeah, and you live close to one.
Yeah.
I don't even live close to one, and I don't want to do it.
Especially with younger people, like, the great thing about Netflix and the reason the Netflix model works so well is because it's so easy to use. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the moment you make it difficult for somebody who's 25 years and younger, they're going to be like, oh, do I want to torrent this for free?
Oh, totally.
Or do I want to walk down and get a freaking movie from the Redbox?
Right.
Like,
I mean, what do you think freaking Blockbuster went out of business, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's convenience. Like, I remember I was really late to Netflix, but once I got it,
actually.
I was like... Damn, this is easy. Like, yes, I will pay you that $7 a month.
Yeah, you have
no
to
problem.
make it easy.
You know, like that was the deal. You know.
Yeah, for sure. So
it was a game changer.
Game changer for sure. They plan on launching in 2 months.
Cool.
So when is that? It's February right now.
April?
March, April. So we'll see how this fleshes out. But I'd be willing to at least give it a shot.
Do you think you would use it? Tell us in the comments.
Let us know in your positive review on our iTunes page.
Which we have to actually say. I think somebody else did a iTunes review.
Should we do one of those real fast?
Let's do
well,
it.
as long as we're talking about Xbox.
Let's talk about our sponsor, iTunes.
Sponsor, iTunes, bringing you free episodes of user-friendly...
Bringing you overpriced music since...
show. iTunes. Let's see if it's here. There we go. It's actually showing up at the top now when I search for that. That's good. So let's see here. Oh, we got 28 ratings. So if you would like to leave us a...
It just doesn't reflect the newest ones until you go to the app, I think.
Yeah, so if you'd like to leave us a positive review on our iTunes page, boy, would we just appreciate that so much. As you can tell, we're a low-budget operation. We make no money from this show whatsoever, and we survive off your positive commentaries.
We should have a remote control where every time we talk about how poor we are, a picture falls off the wall.
I don't know if we have any new ones though.
You have to go. Yeah,
most recent.
Recent.
Okay. Boom. Oh my gosh. This one's from February 1st. This is new.
Here we go.
Okay, this one comes from @KevinODesigns. Hi, Kevin. And I just assume this is a nice thing that you're saying because I've never read this before. I never thought that I would look forward to a podcast, but Roberto and Erfon bring something truly special. Thank you. Another reviewer said it's like dropping in on two old friends. This is true. And you too will find yourself looking forward to seeing the dynamic duo. I'm going to start calling us that. That should be something that we do.
Yeah.
This dynamic duo bring you the latest tech talk and common sense insight on new products and apps. It's obvious that these two love what they do. It translates into a podcast that will bring you both good info and good cheer. Cheerio, Governor!
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you for leaving that, Kevin. We appreciate your nice words. And what's up?
Is that new? No, that's the last one we read. Okay.
Yeah, that was the last one we read. So if you would like to leave us a comment, please do so on our iTunes page. Just go into iTunes and search for user-friendly show, I believe, right?
Yes. Or just user-friendly. I think we're at the top now.
It should come up.
I think we skipped over one a while ago. Just to be nice, we'll read that one.
Okay. Auburn fan PS3. I think we did read this one.
It's real short and sweet.
He says, I love, and I can just assume it's a he because it's this show. I love user-friendly. Watching Erfon Roberto's jokes keep me laughing for minutes.
There you go.
Only minutes?
I know, yeah.
Keep me laughing for more than 3 seconds, but less than 10. Plus, I love Erfon's chest muscles. I'm pretty sure he is well endowed. Whoa. Auburn fan PS3.
Dang. You may have embellished that a little.
No, well, maybe the last part a little bit. So anyway, thanks for your nice reviews, guys. We have 28 5-star ratings. Not a single one under 5 stars, so thank you.
Thank you
for being so kind to us. Let's move on, shall we?
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about Xbox and video games.
Video games!
Nice. So, I think this is an exciting time to be a video game fan. I'm a huge Xbox fan. I play Xbox a lot.
Mm-hmm. You like things with the word X in it? With what exhibit?
Exhibit, XXX movies, X Play, although I think they're now defunct.
X-Play.
And actually, I wasn't really that big of a fan of X-Play.
X-Rated.
X-Rated is a good one for me. Mm-hmm. So you want to talk about the Game Stick first, right?
Yeah.
So we actually got some Kickstarter projects to talk about, and then we'll move into an Xbox conversation. Whoa, this raised a lot of money.
Yeah, so here we go.
I've never seen anything about this either, so this is going to be my first venture into the Game Stick.
So there's a Kickstarter project, that started up, what was it? Maybe like this month, I think? January 2nd?
I don't see, where's the date? Oh, January 2nd, yeah.
So,
okay. So it just ended.
They're called Game Stick, and what it is like it's a different platform, but it's trying to be like more of an open platform. So it's based off Android. Mm-hmm. And what it is a console, quote unquote, that is about the size of a USB drive, but it plugs into your HDMI port. And
you know it's going to be powerful.
Yeah.
I already know what to expect from this.
So I thought this was an interesting topic. They did raise a lot of money. They wanted $100,000 to produce this console, and they got over $600,000. So why don't we take a look at their pitch video, sir?
Okay. Here we go.
Go for it.
So we were really frustrated by the TV gaming space. It was really clunky. Big consoles, big controllers, wires everywhere, and the ecosystems were completely closed. So we wanted to blow that apart with a really beautiful product, something really simple, really elegant, on a completely open operating environment. We call it Game Stick. We set out
it's a stick
with
of gum
to create a really beautiful big screen games console. In building that product, there were some really fundamental engineering challenges. We wanted to go from a product this size to a product this size. GameStick is a
To a
2-inch
product
game
this
console
size.
running
You're not holding anything.
for the first time ever.
Or
it puts
am
big
I?
screen gaming directly in your pocket. It's packed with power and memory to run the very richest games available today. No wires, no boxes, no fuss. So in creating a great games console, you've got to create a great game controller. We focused tirelessly on making this product as
I
beautiful
don't think they did
as
that.
possible. Looked at trying to integrate the stick into the controller so that you ended up with a really easy to hold, beautiful, portable.
That thing actually looks pretty
device that you
cool.
can take anywhere you wanted to go. Everything we do at PlayJam is about TV. We love TV. Our entire mission here is about trying to make games on TV the best experience that we can. You've got a really open, vibrant platform on mobile, and you've got a closed network on console. And PlayJam simply is trying to break that ecosystem and bring fantastic games to TV.
My name is Charles Wong. I'm the co-founder of Green Throttle Games. Before that, I was the co-creator of Guitar Hero. Well, I think the GameStick is a good idea because it brings down the cost of playing games on a television. So not every game should be played on a $400 or $500 console. I think there are a lot of great games that people can play on their television that don't require all of that, and I think the GameStick is a perfect product for bringing that type of game to the mass market.
The thing I always think about with the GameStick is not only its affordability, but its accessibility. That's the area that I think game developers and also the consumer and the player will get the most excited about. The type of games that you can play using the GameStick will be very, very accessible, very intuitive, very friendly, and a lot of fun very, very quickly.
We're really excited to be working with over 250 developers who like the idea of getting their games on TV but don't necessarily have the resources or the opportunity to go via the direct console route. We see a huge opportunity to provide a direct self-publishing route to TV via an affordable, highly portable, dedicated gaming device which will, we hope, inspire a lot of creative thinking around the big screen.
For the first time, you can create and own your original intellectual property. You can bring that to market. And actually now we're really starting to see the emergence of connected TV as a really viable platform. Really being able to access the television
this is good.
through more accessible, more affordable devices, and that's
fine.
something that, from a development.
So, interesting.
Yes. Can we go back to the photograph of it?
Whoops.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Of the actual unit. Why don't you refresh it? Because I like the way they did it. But anyway, what do you think, man?
This is interesting. You know, I think this thing is going to live or die by how the quality of its games, like how graphically powerful it is.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting idea. It seems like a great idea to me. And I think the reason I was saying earlier that it's such an exciting time to be a video game player is because we have all these games for the Android marketplace in your phone. We have all these games for iOS, right, in the iOS ecosystem, iPad, iPhone especially. And then we have companies like this trying to build these really approachable consoles that usually run Android.
Yeah.
So they make it easy for developers to create games and publish games on.
That part of it I like, yeah.
That part of it is really cool. And then we have these really powerful systems like the Wii U and the new Xbox that's going to be coming out, the new PlayStation that's going to be coming out, which are just going to be amazing video game consoles and home entertainment systems, I honestly think.
Right.
And then you have companies like Ouya, who... Ouya. They should have
Snap into an
Ouya. He breaks through the wall with the controller and then breaks it in half.
It's like, well, you're really old.
Yeah. I think he's also dead. Yeah, he's dead, right? He got into a car crash, so we're jerks.
Sorry, R.I.P. Ron.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Randy Macho Man
Thank
Savage.
You. That's a hard thing to say all at once.
And then you have companies like Ouya who are making an open-sourced, powerful video game console that anyone can write and publish games on. They just got funded on Kickstarter. They were asking for, I think, like, what, $1 million or $500,000?
Don't you have it up there?
Actually,
right
I think
there.
I do. But does it say how much they were asking for?
$950,000.
Okay, and they got
8.5 mil.
8.6 million, basically.
Yeah.
$8.6 million to fund this thing. And then you have companies like Steam, who are releasing the Steam box, which is basically, Steam is this game platform that you can buy games on digitally. It's kind of like the iOS store for computers, Except the games are much more powerful.
Yeah, and they opened it up for what do you call it?
Mac.
For independent developers.
Oh, yeah.
To be able to publish to their, to be able to go direct to market with their games, and then who was it? Xbox Arcade followed suit, WiiWare followed suit, and then PlayStation followed suit. So like before then, you would have to buy games, and nobody wanted to, have it where it's not in a store. Like it was nobody wanted to offer those direct downloads until Steam came around and did it. They're just like, all right, we'll do it.
So it's really interesting to me to see how all this is going to pan out, and I definitely want to talk about the digital model because I think it's where we're headed for Xbox as well, unfortunately. But what do you think about this thing, the game stick?
So originally, I like kind of made fun of it because I was just like, well, it just feels like you're just gonna get a bunch of these like generic titles that seem to try to be like popular titles,
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that one sort of looks like Grand Theft Auto, but it's not. That one sort of looks like Halo, but it's not.
It's Pac-Man.
Yeah, and like, because that's what they can do, because it's like where are we gonna see cool games that you can't find on big consoles, or are they just gonna is it gonna be this all almost like homebrew gaming on this game stick? And I guess in that regard that's kind of cool, but I mean, if you can afford like whatever, I don't know how much it's gonna be. Do you know?
Let's see here.
Like maybe $100.
Game stick bundle with case. My guess is it's gonna be $100. Yeah.
So like, I don't know, dude. If you can afford $100 console, wouldn't you just save up so you can buy a console where you get all the cool games that everyone's talking about, rather than just like this kind of like brand X, console game, where, I mean, I don't know, I can't really get excited about it. It's like, yeah, cool, you have racing games and you have, all these kind of generic titles that that no one knows about. That's a big part of gaming, It's like, did YouTube overtake TV because you can get free YouTube videos and independent productions on it? No, because people like these big production things just like they like big production games, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of why I was saying that the big thing about it will have to be, for me, to see how powerful it is. Because I mean, I don't know, can they fit like a full powered gaming console on a USB stick? No, there's no way.
Yeah, that's why
the Xbox is the size that it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why the Steam box, the rumored Steam box, is more attractive to me, because I like it for the reasons that you can get current games on it, you can get new games on it, because they're basically just like PC ports of the game. It has an account where everything is like saved on it, so if you played it on your Mac, you can play it on your Steam box. But I also like the fact that it carries all of these old titles that I remember playing when I was like a teenager. I love that side of it, because I can download like Commandos Behind Enemy Lines, like all these old games I used to like. So I think that has a lot of appeal there too, to two places, the people that like new games, the people like want to play old games. But I think it's going to be tough to like really carve out that niche. It's going to be, I think, a very geeky niche for,
I think so too,
for the Ouya and for the game stick model. Even though they raise a ton of money, it's like, after that, does it actually stay, like, does it have momentum? Does it have its own audience for a long time, or what,
And they need game developers, like big game developers, to get behind it, right?
That's the thing, is like, are they going to get big game developers, or is it intentionally supposed to be small and indie?
If it's going to be small and indie, then yeah, I think the market for it is going to be small and indie. It's going to be guys who are like, hey, like,
I just want to play a game on my TV, so I'll write a ping pong game.
But gamers that I know, I feel like you're either a gamer or you're not. Like, if you're going to buy one of these things, then you're obviously a gamer. But if you're a gamer, would you want one of these? I don't know if I would.
No.
It's like, I don't care that it's portable. Like,
I mean, it feels like, back in the day when, I don't know, maybe like in the 90s, you could get these off-brand consoles that you could plug into your TV and have a bunch of built-in games on it. And it feels like that. It just feels like, just because you're a game console, and you say you're a game console, doesn't mean that people have the desire to play your games they've never heard of,
Yeah, right.
It's just like, okay.
You can buy one of those Atari sticks from Urban Outfitters and play that.
That's how I feel. I just like, all right, you have games, but am I gonna plug that in and get excited to play these games that?
Well, let's talk about
because there's a part of it is like branding and marketing about these games, right? Like,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, but unless you want to play checkers.
Yeah, man. Like really.
Game stick checkers. I think it's interesting that all these consoles are headed to this digital marketplace, which I think is awesome. You know, like I love not having to put a disc in my system. I hate that I have to do that with my Xbox.
Yeah.
But the thing I like about the digital model is like usually the games are a lot cheaper. Like especially with iOS, probably on the game stick, it's like you pay a smaller price, maybe like $10, maybe hopefully less. Like on iOS, it's $1 usually. And in exchange, you get the convenience of being able to play that game without having to insert any type of disc or anything. But what you lose, obviously, is the ability to sell that game at a later time, which is a huge part of the console ecosystem, right? It's
you mean like resell it?
Like, yeah, you have a physical disc, you get to sell that, and somebody else can play it after you've paid full price for it, or maybe after you've bought it used.
Yeah. That's
a huge piece of the PlayStation marketplace. It's a huge piece of the Xbox marketplace. It's how businesses like GameFly, the game rental place that's basically like a game rental place like Netflix exists. GameStop, the place that sells used games. So PlayStation is reportedly going to be announcing the new PlayStation on February 20th. This is rumored, so we don't know for sure. There's some specs floating out there on what it's going to look like. And then of course, if PlayStation does this, Xbox is going to be right behind them. I think they're kind of waiting for who's going to make the first move. Because the current Xbox is, I think, like 8 years old.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's since it's been released. It was probably developed 2 years before that.
Right.
So now there's a rumor that the new Xbox is probably going to be announced pretty soon, too. And Kotaku and a bunch of other websites are reporting about 2 controversial new features on the Xbox. One is that it will require an internet connection in order for games to be played. And the second one, and I think even more important, is that it's only going to allow new games to be played on it. So if you buy a disc, or let's say you download a game from the Xbox Live Marketplace, you're the only one that's able to play that game, right? That's one of the reasons. Or that's one of the downfalls of buying a game digitally.
Yeah.
But they're saying now discs are going to be the same way. So you have a disc, you put it in, and basically all the disc is a piece of software, but it comes with a code. And in order for you to play that game, you have to activate the game with the code. And once you do that, the game is invalid for anyone else. Like, it's a one-use thing. You are not able to resell it. And the crazy part is that the Xbox won't play used games, period. Like, you will have to purchase a code.
So you couldn't go to your game store and get a game, because that's technically.
Well, you could.
Those are all games that wouldn't work.
You'd have to pay them. You'd have to go home and pay for a code to activate the game.
Basically like the price of a new game.
It could be. There are some people playing with the model right now. Unfortunately, EA is one of those scumbag companies that does that. So like they'll sell a game brand new, and if you buy it used, they lock out portions of the game. And if you want to play them, you have to buy a code from them to play that game, even though you purchased it from somebody.
So what is the other side? What is the devil's advocate side of this part of this model of blocking people out, like you're saying?
They make more money.
Is it really?
Yeah. They make more money. Like their argument is that you don't own the game, you own a license to play the game.
Oh, okay.
There's no reason why you should be able to resell this because you don't own it.
Okay.
And with the iOS model out there and everything, they're probably like, oh, well, people are already used to this. And I'm like, probably, but the difference is an Xbox game costs $60+.
Right.
Like if I buy a game for $60 and I can't resell it, I'm gonna be irate.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be pissed. Like, it would make me seriously consider whether or not I wanted to even buy a new Xbox.
So it totally outweighs the convenience factor. What if all games became half price? Would that entice you to buy games?
You mean $30?
Yeah.
Possibly, but that would never happen.
Or is that still too cheap?
I think that might be too expensive still. Although actually $30 I think would be much more reasonable. There's a lot of games out there that are
I guess they cost a lot to develop it though.
Yeah, some games more than other. And there's some games out there that are probably worth the $60. I think this is a problem with the model too. Like there's games out there that take a ton of development, like Halo, right?
Right.
They developed this game for years. And then they come out with a game like Virtua Tennis.
Right.
They're the same. They charge the same price for both games.
Right, yeah.
It's like, dude, you know one of them actually took a lot of innovation and skill to build, and the other one's a piece of crap that if you bought, it's because you were tricked into buying it or it came free with your console.
So you think there should be an iOS-style, like, variable price model?
I do, yeah. I do. And I don't think they can charge full price for a game that you can't resell.
So do you think when they launch, they're going to just try to see if they can get people to buy for expensive?
If they do this, it will be the stupidest move Xbox has ever made. I can't imagine that they would be stupid enough to believe that people would go for this.
So how would you like it to be?
I think that I think there should be an option, like you can buy games digitally for a smaller price if you want, just like the way they do it now. And it will be a digital distribution model, so you pay a smaller price, you can't resell it. But if you want to buy a game on a disc, you have the opportunity to resell that game at a different time and somebody else can play it. You know, it's like, I don't want to be locked into this digital model and not be able to resell my games once I buy them.
Do they allow you to like go to your friend's house and log in and play the game?
As far as I know, you can't do that currently. No.
So then no.
Yeah, you could attach your Xbox Live ID, which is what your account is based off of, to another Xbox, but it's a huge pain in the arse to do it. And then you would have to re-download all your content.
Yeah, you have to download like gigabytes of shit.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, for me, it'd be way easier to take a disc over there and play it. But let's talk about the other side of it. They're reporting that it will require an Ethernet connection or an internet connection to be used. Like, we're not in Japan, you know, like there are people that don't have internet connections still in the United States. Not to mention, you know, what happens if your router goes out? What happens if your internet connection shuts off?
You can't
Which
even
happens.
play games, yeah.
Like then all of a sudden your Xbox becomes worthless.
Yeah, I've often I've had where my internet is like being stupid, and I'll just play a game on my Xbox, or I'll watch a DVD on my Xbox, you know?
Yeah.
And you don't need internet for that.
Maybe you wouldn't need internet for that. Well, so anyway, I just think it's controversial. I hope they don't go this route. But let's talk about some of the other Xbox features. So finally, they're expecting Xbox to have Blu-ray, which would be awesome. Because do you have a Blu-ray player?
No.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
And the reason I never get one is because eventually I'm going to have an Xbox that's going to have a Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
I have this amazing plasma television that looks amazing with Blu-ray, and I've never watched a Blu-ray on it. It's going to come with a new version of Kinect, which I couldn't care less about. I think Kinect is for kids. Silly rabbit. Kinect is for kids. I don't want to sit there and go like this to control my Netflix account. It's going to hold an AMD 8-core CPU and run at 1.6 gigahertz and feature 8 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM. This is all reported. None of this has been confirmed. But it wouldn't surprise me if the specs were right.
It seems to me like that is a current MacBook or something, right? Like that's about.
It is, yeah.
So it's like, is that normal? Isn't that? Aren't they supposed to tout like a double that so that they can prepare for the future or whatever?
I don't know. You know, I honestly, the Xboxes that we're running now look amazing, and they're running technology from 10 years ago.
Yeah, it always has to catch up though. Because the release titles are always like pretty cool, but then it isn't until the end of life of the console where the developers get it enough to develop crazy ass stuff.
That's true.
For it.
And you also got to think like the Xbox is using all of its processing power just to play games. It doesn't do anything else while you're playing games. I think the other exciting thing is the new Xbox is going to be designed from the ground up to be internet connected and to have a lot of the Xbox Live stuff built in. Like the current Xbox has been hacked. I mean, to do a lot of the things that you do, it will do them, but it doesn't do them elegantly. Like, for example, if you have an Xbox, you'll log into a game and it'll immediately disconnect you from Xbox Live to tell you that there's an update available. And it's like, what the hell? Like, I was having a conversation with my friend, all of a sudden it goes, ba-dink, and you're disconnected. And it's like, doesn't warn you or anything. You're not able to download updates in the background. Like, if you're playing a game, you can't be downloading content at the same time. Why not? Like,
right.
Why would that matter? There's all these little things that it's like, why does the Xbox work this way?
Yeah.
And I'm excited to have faster menu systems, which I know sounds dumb, but like you press the Xbox button and it takes like 20 seconds for the little box, the menu to go boop and open up.
It's probably gonna do. It's probably gonna look like Windows 8, and it's gonna do like the tiling.
You're probably right.
So it's gonna
the dashboard already looks like Windows 8.
It's gonna take just as long for it to go like that. My girlfriend, she was like, that one of the reasons she didn't want a Windows phone, even though she really liked the interface, was she's like, it would drive me crazy to launch things, and it has to do that little animation before it opens.
I'm not familiar with that animation you're talking about.
You haven't seen it?
I think the Windows 8 UI it looks like a butt, a big butt.
That's what it does. Butt. It shows an ass and then it flips.
Yeah,
over.
That's what it should show. Well, remember, was it last show even that we showed that designer who like gave his like design impression of what it should look like, and he did all these mock-ups.
Yeah,
and it looked awesome. He made it look so much better with like just some simple tweaks.
Oh yeah, he just changed like the colors and stuff.
Changed the color schemes and stuff. So anyway, it's going to be interesting to see how this all ends up working out.
Yeah, man, because they definitely they kind of did a leapfrog, because they had the Xbox, and that was like okay, but then they managed to jump over like doing a second Xbox and doing like to the third Xbox kind of.
Yeah.
To catch up with the PS3.
Totally.
Right? So they definitely have like a thriving fan base that really wants to see them, hit it out of the park. So
yeah, I'm a huge Xbox fan. I'm really looking forward to the next Xbox. I'm really excited about it.
So what's the reported date launch?
Probably I think it's going to be announced this year, and it wouldn't surprise me if it went on sale this year at Christmas. That's really aggressive.
Yeah,
but what will most likely happen is they'll announce it this year, and it will go on sale next year at Christmas. But the problem with that is that once you announce it, current Xbox sales are going to plummet.
Oh yeah.
Who's going to buy an Xbox when they know new one's coming out?
Well,
Nobody.
dude, they're cheap now. I heard that you can get one for $99.
That doesn't surprise me. Not only are they cheap, they're made cheap. Like I bought one over Christmas. Dude, the accessories for this thing are like made in Mexico garbage.
Yeah, I got a.
They're so crappy now. The controllers are crappy. The headset's crappy.
Yeah, they got really like. I mean, I don't know. Were they different when they launched?
Because, they were super high quality when they launched. Like the controllers are really beautifully made. They worked really well. Like the one I got was all janky. It had like plastic, like hard plastic edges sticking out everywhere. And I was like, did a blind person assemble this? Like, what is wrong with this thing? And then the freaking joke is that headset they give you that this,
dude, yeah.
Like that's what people hear when you're talking.
That's what I bought a really cheap one on Amazon, and it was worthless. Like you couldn't even talk to me.
Yeah.
Every time I talk, it would cut out.
I bought a $4 headset on eBay that included shipping, and it was higher quality than that POS they gave me with my Xbox.
Yeah, and I was like, it says Xbox and Microsoft on this. Like, what happened?
Yeah, they're on a race to the bottom for price.
Speaking of accessories, go back to the game stick because I forgot to mention one thing.
Oh, okay,
where that was a funny little
the
topic.
game stick.
Yeah,
where is it?
Up at the top, just the picture of it. So if you notice, the layout, the button layout, what does that spell?
Play. That's actually kind of hokey but funny.
So they actually didn't end up going with that. They went with the traditional YXBA thing. But I remember seeing that, and a friend of mine was just like going off on how dumb that was. And then my cousin made a really good point. He's like, no, it's been YXBA from basically like Super Nintendo. So now everyone knows there's an L and R button. So now all of a sudden there's just arbitrary L on this side, on the right side.
Oh yeah,
and
that's a good
and
point.
I was like, yeah, that's actually a really good point. So I saw an updated version and they scrapped that. So.
I mean, it's a good idea when you think about it, but yeah, in practical use, you're like, no, you're just gonna confuse people.
It seems like a marketing idea. Like somebody's like, oh, we should have it say play or like game on it or something.
You know what?
And it's like the buttons that have letters for a reason. I mean, then or some sort of symbol like PlayStation does, right?
Yeah, totally. What just occurred to me with this game stick before we wrap up is, I wonder if the actual processing power is in the controller. And the USB dongle is just an adapter that sends the signal back and forth from the TV. I bet you that's what's happening.
Could be, yeah.
So like the actual gaming system is in the piece that you hold, just like, like the portable like Nintendo like stuff that you have.
Yeah, it's interesting that they went with that square block because we haven't seen that in ages. That's like the Nintendo.
Yeah.
But it seems like an updated version because it has, what do they call it, the analog sticks and stuff like that. So maybe it's good. I don't know.
Alrighty, I think that's all we got, dude.
I think you're right.
Okay, cool. So that's it. Let's wrap up. Hey, dude, if I wanted to read about your tweets or if I wanted to see your vines, where would I go to do that?
You can just follow me on Twitter. It's just at Roberto Hoyos, RobertoHoyos, and I also have a Twitter for Throwboy, which is just at Throwboy.
Big news possibly coming for that soon, right?
Yes, sir.
Got
what
something
about
bubbling that I know about, but you don't. So I'm at Erfon on Twitter, ERFON, and of course, if you want to follow my vines, just search for Erfon Elijah and Roberto Hoyos. You'll find us there.
Yes.
And we're posting vines pretty regularly, actually.
Yeah.
I think they're fun, man. I love Vine. It's so much fun so far.
Yeah, it's cool. I went through the categories like Explore the other day or today.
Yeah.
And I went through Loop. And Loop is annoyed me because it's like, it's supposed to be something that looks like it's continuous, right?
Right.
Because it loops.
And not something that just doesn't stop playing.
Right. And so it's like, someone will tag something with Loop and it will be like them walking down the street, going into a room and sitting
disappearing
down.
and then resetting.
And then all of a sudden it starts over. And I'm like, you don't just put Loop because it loops. They all loop.
That is what Vines do by default.
Animated GIF that starts over.
It's a GIF loop.
But yeah, so you can also find user-friendly in a number of places. You can go to userfriendlyshow.com to find all our old episodes and current episodes. Search for us in iTunes, just user-friendly show.
And look for the picture of us doing this.
And subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're getting a lot of activity there. Sorry that we don't reply very much.
Dude, I need to be better about that.
But our YouTube channel is just youtube.com/userfriendlyshow.
Yep. And did you tell them to subscribe in iTunes?
Subscribe in iTunes.
Subscribe in iTunes. Okay.
All right.
Awesome. We'll see you guys next week.
We will see you next week. Boom, boom.